going on, everybody? It's Tuesday night, the show. Rob, I did not permanently change the hours. I'm just trying something new starting at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. You know what? It's been kind of nice. It gives me a little extra time to get home and settle in and, eat dinner, all that stuff. So maybe I will permanently change to 8. We'll see. We'll see as the season goes. Things can fluctuate. But thanks for being on our car squad. John, what's up with you? I feel Citizen red shirt. I feel Citizen needs a red shirt, but use his 4 meaningful games to increase the speed or see the speed of the game. The wide receiver room needs to have more reliable reporting for the fans. We'll definitely get into the wide receiver room for sure and what's being reported about them. Now the chat is refreshing finally. Joshua, Mark, welcome. Yeah, thank you, Deneric. Please hit that subscribe button and hit that button. We should be having our guest on soon. No rush for him. He'll hop on whenever, and we'll talk a little camp and a little bit about the upcoming season, because now we're 18 days away as of today. John, how's the move coming along? It's going, but hopefully that'll be done soon. I'll have that. I'll be back to being in my own little cozy studio and more reliable Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So in the meantime, I am not going to slack on bringing you CANES content twice a week. That's still going to happen. And that's the beautiful thing about YouTube. You can do it from whatever. I can look at Flo. He does it literally from his phone, going from place to place while he's at work. John, how do you feel about the drop balls in practice? Man, I don't like it, but let's see about when the bullets actually start flying and season. If I see against Bethune-Cookman actual drops, like X drops a couple, Romello drops one in the end zone, Mallory drops one over the middle, okay, then that gives me reason for concern. While they should be catching the ball in practice, that's the thing. Is it how hard are they in the drills? I mean, they should be drilling hard, but how hard are they, are they kind of nonchalant, just kind of throwing the ball around kind of stops? Are they, during that kind of thing? Because remember, the reporters aren't there for the entire, you know what I'm saying? So were there a lot of drops in the scrimmage? I don't know. I'm sure there was a couple. Maybe our guest can fill us in on that with what's been leaked and released since then. Let's see, Negus, what's going on, sir? I'm doing all right, sir. Doing just fine. Hey, yo, my boy, what's going on? All right, so 52 in the chat. Thank you guys for being on. Please hit that like button. Now, a few topics to go over. Yes, the wide receiver room. We will cover that. But my initial thoughts on that are basically I will worry if it's happening during the game. Those are my initial thoughts. And with that, my guest just arrived. He is in the waiting room now. Let's bring him in. Let's not keep him waiting.
Yo.
Good, sir. What's going on?
Nothing. I just did something hilarious. So I was looking at your message for the link, right?
Yeah.
And I clicked on one that you sent me like months ago on accident. And it showed like the title of the YouTube video, and it was like Nick Saban is pissed, and I just died laughing.
Oh, yeah. I remember that was the last time I had you on. That's right. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Just got off work. Had a quick little phone call with A-Black to make sure everything's squared away for tonight's show, and now I'm here. So
nice. Well, it's probably the hottest topic of camp, the wide receivers. I was kind of touching on that. Wanted to get your take on that. My take is, I was just filling in the fans. Look, if I see it in an actual game, if I see guys dropping the ball against Bethune-Cookman, then I'll start getting a little bit concerned, and I'll start wondering, what the hell? Coaching staff, a lot of new receivers since a couple of years ago. Like, what's the deal? What's happening? Give us your take on what do you think is going on there? And is there maybe a little bit of misreporting, maybe a little bit of exaggeration of the drops and what's happening in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of I love when this topic comes up because it's like every time, right? Every time it comes up, and I say the same thing, right? Find a receiver that's never dropped the ball, and while you're looking for that receiver, I'll tell you where you're gonna find him. You're gonna find him sitting next to the corner that's never been beat, because neither of those exist. Every receiver drops balls. It can be Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, Michael Irvin. Everybody drops balls, and there's never a corner that's never been beat. The only corner that's never been beat and the only receiver that's never been beat are sitting on the bench next to us, or sitting on the couch with us, who have never actually played, right? Because it's just there isn't. You're always going to get beat as a corner, and you're always going to drop a ball as a receiver. So, am I worried about it? No. I agree with your stance. If it starts to happen a lot in games, then yeah, that would be when you would kind of start to worry. But it's practice. Like they're at practice to work on things. Nothing in practice is perfect. Practice helps make perfect, even though nothing's really ever perfect. So they're there to improve, and they're there to work on things. They could be working on things that make it harder for them to catch, just because that they're trying to improve things. Like, I know, for example, Restrepo, I don't know if he's doing it this year, but all throughout him growing up, he didn't practice with gloves on because it's harder to catch without gloves. So whether it was scrimmages or any other practice, he would not be wearing his gloves because it's harder to catch. So that was his way of practicing for when he is wearing gloves. It's a lot easier. Um, so, there could be situations like that where people are just working on things, and that can kind of promote some more dropping. I do believe there is some misinformation, and a lot of it, not some. I think there's a lot of misinformation that's being put out there, um, about, who's doing well and who isn't doing well. And I think it's been happening ever since Mario got here. But no, I'm not worried about it right now.
Yeah. Now, you think some of that could be by design, maybe keeping a couple of possible secret weapons kind of under wraps. Like maybe one guy's like, hey, this guy's really starting to take off a little bit in practice. We got a big game week 3. Let's kind of keep him a bit of a secret. Possible that maybe some of that's happening too.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that is it is part of it. And it was funny because I was having a conversation. You might have seen the conversation, and I didn't say this, but I wanted to. But I gave that comment to someone else outside of the conversation. When Coach Mario, gives an interview and he says something, and then all the fans are just like, "Oh, okay, well, this is a fact. Mario said it. Coach Mario said it. Blah 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 blah." Why would Coach Mario lie to us? Right? That's the word that I've heard. Why would he lie to us? Why would he tell you the truth? In this, is that not a fair question? If
Yeah.
he thinks it's to his benefit to hide things, why would he tell you the truth? So to me, I definitely think it's by design.
Yeah. I agree with you there. And look, all this just makes me more excited for week 1. Honestly, I'm itching to what is really, because that'll kind of reveal, okay, what's really been going on
Yeah.
these last few weeks in fall camp. Speaking of, we'll move away from the receiver position. There have been a lot of positives as well, especially on the defensive side. Tackling's improved according to Coach Mario. But is there a unit, I guess on the whole team, is there a unit specifically that maybe a few weeks ago you weren't thinking too much of? You're like, okay, maybe they'll be solid, whatever. But now over these last couple of weeks with what you've heard, you're like, oh, wow, I'm very pleasantly surprised now.
I like how you worded that, John, because we have a similar question we're going to do tonight on my show, but it's a little bit different, so I love it. I would say linebacker. I think I was still, I was hoping for 2 transfer portal linebackers. And I obviously was hoping that Chase Smith wasn't hurt in the spring, so he had some more time to get accustomed to the new team and how everything was going on. But I'm actually not really worried about linebacker right now, just from things that I've kind of heard. I think a lot of guys in that room are stepping up. Now, are they names that some of the fans might not be happy about if they see them on the field? Sure, but at the end of the day, like Flo says all the time, especially in recruiting, but it goes to the same thing here. Take emotions out of it. You could hate a player, right? Absolutely despise somebody, and you're just like, I can't believe he's playing. He gets in the game and he balls out, and instantly you're just like, okay, I don't mind that player anymore. For instance, right? Everybody just did not want to see Ryan Rigoni play last year.
Mhm.
Because the year before it was just a mess, blah 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 blah. Every time he went in the game last year, something positive happened. He might not be the most athletic guy on the team, last year or whatnot, but every time he was in the game, he was making plays, right? So we can have guys like that go from subpar players that we feel shouldn't be playing to make huge steps, especially under a new coaching staff, right? So you're gonna see some guys out there that you're just like, oh, I don't want to see them. They should just transfer, like we heard the whole offseason. And hopefully they play better. And as fans of the University of Miami, we should hope that they get on the field and that they do perform better than they did last year, because that means we're having progress and we're actually developing players. So I'm not as concerned with linebacker anymore.
Yeah, I'm not as concerned either. The only thing I'm concerned about with linebackers is depth. That if you get like one or two key injuries, that could be a real problem. But I am very happy with what I'm hearing about Caleb Johnson, a
Yeah.
guy that's what 235, 240, great size, good height, and has the speed to go with it. Which I can't remember the last time we had both of those things in one linebacker. So we got him. Mesidor, I'm hearing great things about. Nigel Kelly. Um,
Just
and he,
just 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 hearing a little bit about him, right, John?
a little bit. I'm hearing he's got like, as far as natural ability goes, which I'm not shocked by, that he's got the best pass rushing natural ability, like bend and all that stuff, of anybody. He's a freak. Um, you think we see him? I mean, obviously we see him in the first couple games because of who we're playing. But do you think he's a factor early in the season?
Yeah, I think he's a factor the whole season. And I got into a ton of heated uh, arguments, or conversations with some of my buddies about the last cycle, and kind of who I thought was going to make more of an impact right away, and who I thought was a better pass rusher, not necessarily all around player. And that was in the last recruiting class. It was obviously Nigel Kelly and Shamar Stewart. And the whole time I'm like, I want Nigel Kelly because I think he can come in day one and get snaps as a pass rusher. Now, Shamar might be a better overall player, and I know everyone in the chat's going to get all upset because I mentioned Shamar's name, but I think he may be a better overall player. But as far as what this team needed, I think we needed a pass rush specialist. We really haven't had that. Um, all last year we didn't have it. We didn't have that one guy who could come in on 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 7, anywhere 3rd and medium and 3rd and long, and we can expect him to get to the quarterback. Nigel Kelly is a guy that the second the ball snapped, he's probably already past the left tackle. He's just that quick off the line, and that's something I felt like we really needed. So I got into a lot of conversations about that. But so far, from things that I've heard, he's doing very, 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 very well. So I'm super excited about Nigel Lee.
Yeah, and honestly, and this I'm excited about this as well, is the only thing that may keep him off the field a little longer is the fact that we have actual depth. I mean,
Right.
we could legitimately put 3 different units on the field at any time. Like we've got, I could confidently say about 3 layers of talent that we can throw out there, in any game, between Moultrie, Elijah Roberts, and Lichtenstein, and LT, and Daryl Jackson, and the size to go with it. So the only thing is that there's so many guys in front of him, which is also good. That's going to push him to compete. Les says so we can't be excited for X-Man catching everything and close our eyes about the drop balls everywhere else. I need a real wide receiver, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, do we have a real number one? I don't know. We have to wait until the season starts. We can't just go off of, watching reporters, our reporters watching a bunch of stretching or, hearing what Mario has to say. We can't just take that as gospel, like Max said.
You're taking some quotes out of my book, John.
Yeah.
That the
No.
the stretching period.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And is X-Man catching everything, or or is that what's being reported? So again, we can't take every. I'm not saying it's not true, right? And but we can't take everything that's being published as a fact, right? To me, I think we do have a wide receiver one. In fact, I think we have two of them. I really, really do, and neither of them are Restrepo because I don't really count him because he's in the slot. But I think we have two of those guys, and I think the fans might be a little bit shocked when they find out who at least one of them is. But I think we do have two of those guys.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot of things about one guy in particular that it feels like he's been with the program for a million years. Was a 4-star recruit at one point, and players talk about him as being the smartest guy in the receiver room. They
Oh,
go to
I
him
didn't
for,
even have him, but that's a good one. Yeah,
yeah, talking about Michael Redding.
yeah.
Everybody talks about how smart he is. He knows the entire playbook. He's like, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but I want to say he's studying to be like an aerospace engineer or something like that. Like the dude is really, really. I
Yeah,
don't know.
no. Redding is like literally a genius. Like that kid is just so gifted in terms of his smarts and his work ethic. Obviously, unfortunately, he's been battling injuries, the whole time he's been at Miami, but um, he is really smart on the football field and off the football field. Like you ask any player on the team who's the smartest player on the team, most likely they're going to say Michael Redding.
Yes. Moving away from that topic again, I know we keep going back to the receivers, but there's something I've been noticing, and I've had to really stay off Twitter especially the last couple of weeks, because it seems like we're in everybody's mouth. I'm talking about Miami being in all our rivals. Like everybody's bringing us up, especially media. You know, Gator fans, Knoll fans, Oregon fans. Now, I guess we have a rivalry with them. Go figure. Um, you've seen some of the ridiculous that's been put out there. Some of it gets dropped in our chat. One of them got dropped like 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, and I think you commented on it like, is this dude high? Like, what the hell?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I
is
think
this
some of these reporters are getting their information from animals, dude.
like, but is this a
Like,
result of like, are other fans like Miami haters maybe a little nervous and they're just trying to drum up something? Because it
well,
seems it's a little weirder than usual right now.
yeah, I think like, when it gets late at night, these reporters are doing their little nighttime walks and they just hear like frogs ribbiting and they just try and talk to them, and that's where they're getting their information from because it is bad. Like bro, even some of the Miami reporters, and obviously I'm not
Yeah.
going to mention any names, but some of the stuff that I've seen from rival reporters the last like 24 hours, I am like shocked that it's being published. Like it's crazy. And this too, Mark, like, we always have like, Florida State and Florida fans and like Oregon fans pop in the chat every once in a while, but it's like every single show we have like multiple now. I think everybody's kind of scared because the whole world is talking good about Miami right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ever since Mario kind of had that boom, like that 5 week period where they're landing everybody, Maui Goa, Rashada, all these guys, Malik Bryant. Um, they kind of ran out of stuff to say. Like they were literally trying to make fun of our temporary locker rooms, even though they're far and away better than the basic white IKEA looking locker rooms that these other schools have. Like far and away better, but they're trying to nitpick even at that. So I really feel like they're grasping at straws at this point. And yeah, Mark said it perfectly. I was trying to find a way to word it, but he worded it perfectly. That yeah, is way up right now, and I think I like it. It's a good sign that we're moving in the right direction at least.
No, I agree. I think it's great. I love the trolls. I just really do. I love the trolls. I used to interact with them all the time, as Flo would know, but I don't do it as much these days. I'm reformed. But every once in a while, I'll feed into a little bit of it just to have some fun.
Yeah, it's like junk food though. Don't do it all the time. It's not good for your health.
Exactly.
Yes, they know a hurricane warning is coming. And we keep hearing. I know, I'll have you on for just a few more minutes because I actually have a Zoom call Flo and these people about the Orlando thing. But one more topic really quick. The whole thing about the second wave that we keep hearing from the coaches and second wave is coming, second wave is coming. I have no reason to not believe that. I have no reason to doubt our coaching staff. I do believe that wave in recruiting is coming to kind of fill out this class. And even with all the rumors of like, oh, this guy might decommit, or elsewhere, I know these spots are all going to be full. I have all the faith in the world. I don't know, like, what's your take on that whole thing?
Yeah, I was just talking to Black about this on the phone. Like, if you are like concerned, anxious, and like pissed off about recruiting under Mario Cristobal, you will never be satisfied in recruiting with any coach in the history of football, because like he is the most professional recruiter that I have seen like ever. Just the way he does the way he does things, the way he acts, the way he treats families, and all these things. If you don't have trust in him, like I just don't know what to tell you at this point. And I'm gonna steal a quote from Flo. I'm not a timeline guy. I don't know when this second wave is coming, but I believe that it is coming, and I think it's gonna shock some fans in a positive way.
I would agree with that. Quick question for you
Hmm.
on the quarterbacks. Do you think we finish this class signing too?
Um, I would love to, because I feel like I've been against the grain with I would say 99% of the fan base and who I think is a better fit at the University of Miami and who I think might be potentially better. Uh, everybody's like all hyped about Rashada because he's like this high 4 5 star kid. But I just prefer Emery, similar to the kind of TVD Jake Garcia conversation before last year. And for some reason, Flo and I kind of agreed on both, which is rare for us. Um, I would be pretty upset if we did lose Emery, just because I think he's like really really good, and he's a lot more polished than people think. I think he actually has a higher probability of playing early than Rashada does. Um, but do I think he decommits? I mean, who knows, right? He's got half the SEC after him right now. He's turned down a lot of visits. Florida State. He's turned down visits from them. He's being recruited by Auburn and South Carolina and a bunch of other SEC schools. So would it surprise me if he decommitted at some point? No, because it's recruiting. And he would have the opportunity to potentially be the only quarterback in someone else's class. So you have to accept that that is a possibility. But I would be pissed if that happened.
Yeah, man. As long as he doesn't go to state, that's my only
Fact.
rule. Do not go to a round.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
would
that
love
would
to
happen.
keep. No, I would love to keep both of them too. I love both for different reasons. That's why I want to bring it up because it's like, man, if you lose one, which would you rather lose? It's like, man, that's tough. I don't know because Emery brings you, I think, that grit and that leadership quality. He's a tough kid. Rashada brings you quality as well, but it's like a little different. He's just so smooth and so like confident, like uber confident. Rashad, and physically, like, the way he's delivers the ball and all that stuff, he reminds me a little bit of CJ Stroud. I don't know if you see that similarity too. He reminds me a little bit of that, just super smooth in the pocket. Like if you give him any time, he's gonna dice you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm very grateful we got both of them. Hopefully we keep both of them.
I'm in the
But
same boat.
yeah, so, and we'll touch, I think we'll end on this while we have a few minutes left. So obviously we've lost a couple of recruiting battles recently. Not too shocked by some of them because they're, out of area guys. Specifically at safety. We'll finish off there. Are you feeling pretty good about where, like, the guys that I think that they've been approaching that are maybe committed to other schools? Do you think we recover and still finish strong at that position?
Yeah, I think we're fine. And again, like, we do have the number 2 ranked recruiter in the country at that position last year, right? And Jamal Adai, who's been getting a ton of backlash publicly, which makes no sense to me, because the argument is, oh well, Georgia won the national championship, like that's why he was ranked that high. But go look at the rest of Georgia's staff in the recruiting rankings, and none of them touched the top 15. Why did he then? If it was just because they won a natty, why did no other coach on that staff finish in the top 15? It was just him, right? So clearly he did something right? So I think we end up fine there. I'm not really worried about it. We're pretty deep at that spot, um, with a lot of good youth on the on that position. So I'm not worried about it at all. But I think we do clean up with a couple solid additions to the safety room.
Yeah, if it's the caliber of guys I'm thinking of, yeah, I fine. And people don't realize how deep we are at that position, like you just said.
Hmm.
Behind, I think we could end up having the best of safeties in the country. If not, they're in the
Right.
top 2 or 3. After that, Brian Balaam's healthy. Al Blades may have finally found a good home at safety. Who knows? Let's see how they use him. Keyshawn Washington. Well, is Washington still on the team? I lose track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keyshawn Washington, yeah. So he's competing for a spot back there. Markeith Williams, he needs to hit the weights, but he's a really tough, smart kid that I was really happy when we got him. So this second, and I haven't even gotten into the corners. This secondary, I'm very excited about it. If they can solve the linebacker issue, which they will, matter of time, this defense can be elite.
Yep.
So yeah, so I unfortunately have to run soon, guys. I had to keep it kind of a shorter show, but 106 in the chat. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for being on. Maxed out. You guys got your show at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight or 9:30? I always forget.
9:30. If we weren't able to get to some of your questions, bring them to our show. We'll try and answer as many as we can. So
there you go. All right. Well, thank you, Max. Always appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, and hit me. Hey, whenever you want me on Maxed Out, man, hit me up. You know I'm always down.
Sounds good. I will shoot you a message tonight.
All right. Sounds good, man. Have a good one.
All right. Take care. Yep.
All right. That was Max from Maxed Out. So thank you again, Max, for being on. Yeah. Well, wow. 114 in the chat. Yeah. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit all the buttons you see there. They all help. Hit them all. As I take a sip of my cafecito, please hit all the buttons. I have to run. I actually have to do some. Actually, some of the people in the chat are on that call with Flo to plan this whole Orlando shindig to watch the Texas A&M game, which should be a great time. So thank you, as always, Les, Mark, and one more thing. Get to I did, and yes, she did. So those who know. But yes, I did ask, and I got a yes. So, anyways, guys, thank you for being on. Negus, Mark, Nashville Kane, Deneric Carter, Knack Boogie, all you guys. The Maxed Out Show. All right. Thank you again. As always, all about the U.